Hey there, this is Tiff and welcome to the Tiffany Mika podcast. What we do here is we solve your problems so that you're out there working on achieving your big dreams and big goals. So when you listen to these episodes, if you can do me a favor, take a screenshot of the episode that you're actually listening to, share it on social media and share it with your friends with hashtag potential with Tiff, so that I can give you a shout out and really thank you for listening, because I'd really appreciate it. Hey there, this is Tiff from Reach Your Potential with Tiff, and welcome to this week's Lessons Learned. And as you know, what are the lessons learned about? Well, it's lessons that we pick up and we learn about ourselves throughout the week and ways in which we can improve to become the people that we want to become and the athletes that we want to become and really get out there and achieving our goals. So over these last few weeks though, or especially the last few episodes, I've been laying out the bloodline code for you. And if you haven't heard any of the bloodline codes, I really want you to make sure that you do, because these are actually going to be really crucial to your success in your sport. But not only in your sport, it's also success in everything that you do. You want to really have these bloodline codes in place for you. So this is actually what is leading me to today's lessons learned. And if we look at it, in order for you to accomplish those big goals that you want, those really big dreams, we must do these three elements to make sure that these things happen. So these three elements is one, we need to make sure that we're evaluating. Two, we need to make sure we're creating structure. And three, we need to make sure that we're working on creating the achievement. Now, if we're working on evaluating what's actually going on, so that's like lessons learned. Two, if we're working on the structure and creating the structure. Three, then it's going to give us the achievement that we want, okay? Because that's how we want to be looking at that. So over the years with goal setting, it's always been this thing about this is how you set your goals, right? So you set your goal, you set a deadline, you sort of figure out how you're going to do it, and then you just get to work. And there's so much out there about goal setting. There's heaps of information out there. And I don't know if you've actually been listening to my episodes. If you haven't heard them before, well, this is a great introduction to talking about goal setting. If you have been listening to my episodes, then you'll be understanding what I'm talking about here. But have you ever set goals like set your goal, set a deadline, work out how you're going to do it, and you just get to work? Have you ever set goals and never achieve them? I'm hoping that you've probably said yes, because that's happened for me as well. I've set many goals over the years and been nowhere near close to achieving them. And even, we're talking probably about 15 years ago, I went and saw a gentleman who we were working on my belief system because it was quite low. He was a motivational speaker. He worked on mindset and so on. And I actually went to him because I had taken up golf and I didn't want my tennis demons to come back and haunt me. And that's what actually was starting to happen when I started to play golf. I noticed and I was aware enough that I didn't want to make the same mistake that I made with my tennis. So when I started playing golf, I noticed that the demons were coming back to haunt me. So I went and sought out this gentleman who actually lived in an area where I was actually training at the time for my golf, and we worked on my mindset and all of that kind of thing. And he talked about setting goals, and he said, all you need to do is you just write out the goal when you want to achieve it, and that's it. He said it'll just happen. And I always was scratching my head after that. I was always questioning it then, and I would even question it now, having the knowledge that I've got now around goal setting. But at that time, I was really questioning, like, how can it happen? How can you just set a goal and say it will just happen? Like, will it just manifest and just appear out of the air? Because my question was always, well, okay, I understand that you set a goal, but surely there's things that you need to do to make it happen. Surely there's things that you need to have in place to make it happen. So when we set a particular goal for the golf, did I achieve that goal that I set for the golf? Actually, I didn't. But I was always very confused around that goal setting technique that was in place. And that happens quite a lot. They talk about, like I said, set your goal, set a date, off you go. And what you don't get taught a lot about goal setting, this is what I've noticed over the years, is that you actually don't get taught about how to evaluate where you're at. You don't actually look at, okay, this is where I'm at, this is where I want to go, but what's the reality of what's actually going on here? And I call it a reality check. You can call it whatever you like, but what we actually need to be doing is we need to evaluate where you're at first before we do anything. I think it's great that you're going to set your goal, and it's great that you've got a goal in place, but before you work on that goal, we need to identify what's going on here where you are right now. And that leads into this first piece, is evaluation, okay, evaluating. So how do we evaluate? Well, there's some simple things that we can do, okay? We ask questions, right? So we can write out a series of questions to help get real with actually what's going on right now. So here's some examples of some questions that you could ask yourself. Am I where I want to be? Why yes or why no? What is missing? What do I need to do to get me to where I want to go, right? What do I need to do to bridge that gap? There's some examples. So if you're not where you want to be, write out why you're not where you want to be. What's going on? What do you feel it's missing? If you don't know what's missing, then maybe you should be talking to someone that can help you. I'm here. You can talk to me. But maybe that's what you need to be doing. But we need to evaluate and establish where you are first. Then number 2, we need to create that structure, okay? Creating structure is incredibly important. We need to be crafting plans. I talked about actually in the bloodline code, unwavering discipline. If you really want to know how to craft a really good plan, then going to listen to that episode on unwavering discipline. I really outline it exactly how you could do that and craft that plan that you want. So we want to create structure. So once we know and have identified what we must do, then this is when we then craft the plan, isn't it? So, but we need to make sure that we're crafting the plan for everything, right? Our sport, so all the skills, the nutrition, the fitness. If you're still at school, you're obviously going to have to work around school, so you've got to have that in the mix. Also, your life, right? So you need to make sure everything's in place. So you need to craft that structure and plan around that. And then once we have those 2 pieces in place, we've done the evaluation and we've created the structure, right? We've crafted the plan. Then that leads us to number 3, the achievement. So in order for us to achieve what we want to achieve, 1, we've got to evaluate, and 2, then we've got to create those plans and structure. Okay, so then the achievement will then come along. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, well, what if I don't get the achievement that I'm after? What if I don't achieve what I'm working towards in a deadline, like a time frame that I've set? Well, then what we want to do is we want to go back and evaluate, do another reality check, find out what's working, find out what's not working, find out then and create a new plan on how to get further down the track to where you want to go. And this is an absolutely massive lesson for you. If you're doing this regularly, this is where the keys are. Very simple thing. Evaluate, create structure, then we create the achievement. But if you want to go where you want to go, then you've got to put these things in place. And if you haven't listened to any of the bloodline codes, I suggest that you go and listen to all of them. There'll be more coming out, but make sure you're listening to them and doing the work that I'm giving you. I'm giving you the keys. I'm giving you the answers on what you need to make sure that you're doing. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed today's lessons learned. I'd love it if you could share with me what you like best about what you heard today. And I would also really appreciate if you could share with friends that would benefit from these episodes, because remember, we always want to build the Reach Your Potential with Tiff community as big as we possibly can. So I want you to dream big, believe in you, and go after your dreams. Have an awesome day. Take care. Talk soon. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for listening today. If you have any questions about the frustrations that you're actually going through right now, come over and visit my site, Tiffany-Mika.com, and you will see on the home page I've set up Ask Tiff. Now, what Ask Tiff is this is where you can ask me a question, and I will record an episode for you on how to solve that frustration or those frustrations you're actually going through, so that we can get the problem solved for you, so that you're actually out there achieving your big dreams and goals. So if you want me to mention your name in the episode, happy to do so. If you don't, I can keep it anonymous. It's fine by me. But make sure you go over and go to the Ask Tiff on the homepage of my website. If you've just got 30 seconds to spare, I'd also appreciate if you could leave a 5-star review wherever you hear these episodes. And remember, take a screenshot, add the hashtag potential with Tiff, so that I can give you a shout out for sharing these episodes on social media. I'd really appreciate it. And remember this, always, always, always dream big, believe in you, and go after your dreams.